Here we go.
There we go.
We're off,
Lights
Skip.
out.
Half an hour of racing underway.
No. Hello everyone, a little bit late on quali due to a little technical difficulty, but we are back for Mini Endurance Season 4 Round 1. Obviously again part of Career Mode, big grid tonight, lots of drivers, going to be some great racing for sure. Currently watching the lap of Marius in the McLaren, first to go out today, was extremely quick in practice. As we join him towards the end of his lap, so we'll see what pace he sets for the rest of the grid. Everyone has sort of bunched up, not ideal, especially at a track like this, but you know, not much can be done about that. As they, so Marius now on the back straight, we'll see what time he sets. It's going to be a 1:41.2. Still a competitive time. I can imagine plenty of competition, as we do see usually a 1:41.0 and the Mustang a 1:40.6. That's a big difference for a first lap. That was almost incredible. But again, 15 minutes of quali left, so plenty of time for some of these drivers to start settling in and settle the lap times. Have seen a lot of some of the old cars today, which is nice. A few Lexuses, Hondas, and Bentleys. I can imagine a few others as well. But I do think, obviously, there is plenty of action coming in this 2-hour race ahead of us. Obviously, a one-stop race for them today. So it'll be interesting to see how they all plan it out. Obviously, 2 hours is a long time. And with a big grid like this, I can also imagine it's going to be completely action-packed, and like the last race, I won't be stopped talking for at least 60 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Thank you very much, Darkness, for the gifts. I don't know what they mean. I'm not an active Twitch user, but thank you very much. And thanks everyone for the follower goal of 220. That's very nice to see. And thanks, Darkness, for the messages. Let's keep an eye on that actually for next time, because I don't know what's going on. I'm not very Twitch minded, you could say. We'll go on board with the USV as he's about to finish his lap and gets really close to the Mustang. Purple Sector 1 and Sector 2 for him. A little bit of way off in Sector 3, some improvement for him. I was speaking to him earlier, just before the start of the briefing. He was saying that he hates this track and he hates the chicane. So I have to see how he gets on with that. But someone that is literally an eyesore on my screen at the moment is the Delta pushed out by the Mustang. It's another 3/10. If he keeps this up, it's going to be most likely a 40.2. That's incredible pace. Obviously, some drivers with negative ballast today, if they are a part of Career Mode, I'll speak a little bit more about that as we go on into this race. But for now, if you want to check out Career Mode all by yourself before I talk about it, make sure you head over to the website, acm-racing.com, and you can explore it for yourself. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. So far he's currently 4/10 up on the lap time now, so yeah, this is going to be a 40.2. It's now 6/10. I'm literally about to witness a lap of a lifetime. I have actually no idea how this is possible. Obviously the Mustang with negative ballast will be one of the fastest cars ever to touch a circuit, I can imagine. We'll lose a little bit of time for the chicane there. Actually, he's almost 2/10 losers through that chicane. So the chicane could be an issue for a lot of drivers today. Have to see. As it comes down the hill now, just above 4/10, now 5/10. It's going to be a good lap. Could be very close. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. It might be a 40.1. Let's have a look. It's going to be 40.1, just like I said. Obviously, massive improvement. Literally 3/10 quicker than anyone in Sector 1. That Mustang really showing that it can take those curbs at some real high speed. Other drivers on improvements at the moment. I know Nick in the Porsche, currently 6/10s up at the moment. It's going to set him a little bit closer to the top of the grid now as he crosses the line. It should be, yeah, it's only a 1 place improvement as he sits 1.5 seconds off the leader. Still some great times we're seeing here. Very competitive. It should be a great race. And again, even if you look lower down the grid, we'll look at Will in the Aston. Lovely livery, using all of his career mode sponsors on there. He's currently up on the lap time, although a little mistake at the chicane. Everyone's lap time relatively close to each other, so there should be some great racing ahead for the 2 hours. You have to see how it all plays out. Will actually only a little bit of improvement to that corner. Around 2/10 now. Should be a good lap. It should put him up a place at least. You can imagine so as he goes to the line. Yep, it's 1 place improvement. Plenty of time to find. Head over to Andrea in the M4, who is on a 4/10 improvement. We'll set him 1.2 seconds off the leader as it stands, and that should put him somewhere in between 6th and 7th place at the moment. So again, lots of lap time to be found here for the drivers, as he used to be currently a 10th up on his lap time. It's not going to be enough for provisional pole, but it's still good lap time. These drivers really pushing each other. And speaking of, actually, McLaren, which I haven't talked about at the start, was the 128, pushing his lap time down a little bit to a 40.6. Still, these guys are pretty much 4/10 off the pole position time at the moment. That is an incredible lap from Thiago. He'll be looking to improve, as I believe he's on an out lap now. 10 minutes to go. Still, this driver seems like they have improvement. I know USB was talking about a 39 being possible. I'm not sure how much that is possible for him, but for Thiago, looks like it's possible. You know, he's only got to find roughly at 3/10 to secure 39, and if he does that, that's a serious lap time. And we'll go down at the moment, as you see lots of drivers in the pits at the moment, setting up maybe for their 2nd or 3rd runs. We will go on board though. We'll go on board with Ben, looking to follow his teammate with again another career mode car using the Lexus. Probably not one of the Lexus's best tracks here. A lot of that middle sector is probably going to hurt him quite a bit, but that back straight, or the start finish straight, sorry, is we'll really have to see how that comes into play as he sets his sights on the rest of the grid. He's currently 1 second up on the lap time. A time like this will put him roughly in P17 and P18. So it'll be great improvement from Ben. We'll see. Mark Mass says hi. I'm going to say hi as well. That's about it really. You see Ben here coming on to the start finish straight with a 1 second improvement. It should set him all the way up a little bit more onto the grid. Yet goes P18, just at the 10th behind P18 now, so someone else has improved as well. But you can see how close these times really are. If you look towards the top, we'll head up to the top, as you can see. You know, top 5 within a second. These are, you know, crazy lap times we're seeing, so not surprised. Then we look down, maybe the lower top field. We'll look down from P5 to maybe P11, which is a Honda actually, so great lap times from him. I remember talking about him last time in the last stream. He had some serious pace at Brands Hatch, just wasn't able to set it So interested to see how he gets on today at Imola. But yeah, these guys, you know, it may say 1.9 seconds off, but it is a really good lap time still. And you can see again, like I said, mentioned before, how close these times are. It shows how competitive of a field we have today. So plenty of action, and if you wanted to join, I'll say there's always someone of your pace to race with. So that's the best thing. Obviously, 30 cars currently on track, so it's going to be a lot to commentate, I can imagine. But we'll see how that comes into play. With Elliot Barron in the Merc, currently 2.5 tenths, now 3 tenths up on his lap time. This should set him up a position. Again, he finds himself a little bit of traffic, but he's going to get a decent slipstream off the Ferrari ahead of him. To see how it impacts his lap time. Doesn't really impact it, but still, nice lap time. Puts him up to P14 at the moment. So 6 minutes left now, as the drivers will start to think when they will set up their final runs. Head down the grid, see if anyone's finding improvement. Ben Beams is. Unfortunately, I do not have his livery. I did think before the race, so maybe not upload it to collection just yet. But still, he's currently on a 3/10 improvement. This would set him up to around 2 positions. As you see, the Battle of the Bends possibly in qualifying, as Ben Ely just behind him in the Lexus. So have to see. Currently still 3/10 up. But someone I actually really want to watch is Blythe. He's currently 6/10 up on his lap time. This could, he was 6/10 up on his lap time, now 5. But again, still very competitive lap. I don't think it's going to be enough for a place improvement, but still you can see he's going to stop his lap, unfortunately. But yeah, you can see the improvement these drivers actually have, as we will go back on board with Ben Beams, as he's 8 tenths up on the lap time. So this should set him up a position as it stands. Not enough for a couple, but it should be enough for P23. As well. Actually, it might actually be just, if he gets a couple more tenths out these final corners, it might be enough at 22. I'm not sure, it would be close. No, it's not, I don't think, but we'll see what ACC likes to tell us. Across the line. There we have 44.1 for Ben Beams. He moves himself up to P24. Again, we'll go back to the top of the grid. Thiago just doing some outlaps at the moment. 4 tenths clear of anybody else. It's only Marius in P2, is in the pit lane along with Kelly as well. Everyone else looking to set up their final laps of this qualifying session. Obviously, 2-hour race, not that much to be bothered about qualifying, but at a track like Imola, you kind of want to be somewhere at the top. It's really going to help excel your race. Obviously, somewhere mid-pack could be a bit of danger today. So tight turns 1 and 2, especially with a 30-car grid, it's going to be extremely difficult. But we'll see how the grid manages in a couple minutes' time as we get underway for the race. But something to note at the moment: middle sector from Thiago has been taken. It's been taken by Nick in the Porsche. Not by much, about half a tenth, but he is currently up on the lap time, just under a tenth at the moment, as he's actually just outside the 1 second range at the moment of the leader. But he'll be looking to improve his position, maybe get a P5 or P4. We'll have to see as lap goes, but he does abandon the lap there. Actually, there's someone on my Delta, and it's a Bentley. A Bentley was 1 second, just goes 1 second quicker and puts itself P6 as it crashes into the barrier. Not ideal, and crashes into the other Bentley. Some would say that is not optimal, but yeah, still great lap time from the Bentley to put himself P6. Extremely nice to see a car like that make its way up to the top. We'll go with Andrea in the M4. He's currently half a second up on his lap time. This will put him just outside the 1 second range of provisional pole. That would put him around P8, P9 at the moment. Let's see how he does get on. He's currently 5 tenths. at the moment. 6/10 now. He's losing a little bit of time out that chicane. A lot of drivers seem to be struggling with it. It is probably one of the most inconsistent corners on this game, so it might be different every time each driver goes round. But still, well held managed as he finds a lot of lap time in these final corners. Now 7.5 tenths, loses a little bit on the exit. Might get a slipstream from the Audi. So 6.5 tenths improvement. This will put him, I believe, P8, P7. That's barely anything between him and Nick. Great lap time to push himself up to P7 at the moment. There is improvement from Thiago at the top, but it's not by much. It's literally like barely anything, so I don't think he'll be improving that much. We'll have to keep an eye on that delta though, as we will go down again on Elliot Barron, who did lose a lot of time on that chicane. I'll be saying that a lot throughout this 2 hours, but currently I don't think it'd be enough improvement unless he hooks up a nice final couple of corners. Currently looking for maybe a top 14 in quali. No, I don't think he's going to find enough lap time. It's going to be close though, so hopefully he'll get another lap with only... should be any driver coming across to the final corner now would be around setting their final laps. Obviously some drivers on their final laps now, probably. Actually Thiago almost a tenth up on his lap time. He's really looking for this 39. I think he makes a little bit of a mistake there, yeah, and validates that lap. But the 39's there, and I think that will be the end of... He's going to get another lap in, I believe, so that will allow him one more try to get into the 39s. No other driver, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8 at the moment, not improving on the lap time. So I don't think in terms of competition he has much, but I could stand to be corrected, who knows. See P12 at the moment, Julian in the McLaren. Again, sorry I don't have your livery. If it's not uploaded to the Awesome Sim Racing, then send it to me on a DM if you would like, and I'll add it manually. I know sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain, but almost a second up on the lap time. This is going to be a really nice lap from Julian, as he actually goes down to 8 tenths from the exit of that chicane. But again, it's going to put him within 1 second of provisional pole time. Gets a little bit on the exit of these corners. Hopefully hooks up a nice final corner. Did look very clean. Loses a little bit though compared to his previous. It's going to be around 8.5 tenths improvement. Will put him within the 1 second range, and it will put him, I believe, P6. Great lap from Julian as he moves himself a little bit closer. So it is the final lap time, and Thiago is on the lap of his life. Currently a 1/10 improvement. He needs a little bit more to get that 139. We'll have to see how he fares. Still hovering around 1/10. Loses a little bit there. It's now down to half a tenth. Needs a really good final sector to find this lap time. I don't think so. It loses a little bit more, and he's literally equal with his delta. So unless he finds so much time from the chicane, then I don't think it's going to be a competitive lap time. But we'll cut to Harry real quick, as he's currently a tenth up on the delta. This will put him, I believe, P6, maybe a little bit more, but no, he loses time in the final couple of corners, which I don't think... Oh no, he does gain the time back. My apologies. This will be a very nice lap time. We'll put in P6, I believe. Maybe actually P7, possibly. I have to see how it goes. It is P6. Very nice lap time, and Julian, not enough improvement to get the 139 that he wants, but it is an improvement on the lap time. So there you go, fairly dominating quality performance from the forward, with everyone still hovering around. Well, again, really close. Like I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but if you just look on the deltas on the left-hand side, that I think tells you all you need to know, really. Can we get some more contrast? Very dark. I will change that for you now, if you would like. Mark, thank you for subscribing with the Prime. I might be quite slow with that because I'm not paying attention at it. And thanks for Ben for resubscribing with Prime. I'll just I'll get that sorted for you 1 second. And we are back here for the formation lap. I did change the contrast, but hopefully it's a good mix. Please let me know. So I won't be changing it now until the end of the race, but for next stream, let me know. I think it's not too bad. Maybe a little bit bleached out, but we'll have to see. Just okay, I can't do anything about that unfortunately, but again, like I said, really dominating qualifying performance from the Mustang driver. You'll be looking for presumably, hopefully, a win at the end of this 2-hour race. Obviously, everyone a little bit behind, 4 tenths behind for the second drivers, but again, as we saw on those deltas, everyone is very, very close. Even to be within 4 tenths is still relatively close, so we'll have to see. And anything changes after the first lap, so we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, we'll have to see. But see, 2 drivers currently in the pit lane. That being the BMW driver and Callum Blythe. Probably forgetting to hit drive, which on a 2-hour race I would imagine is not optimal. But again, you know, might be the part of the game plan. I'm not one to judge. But we'll see. McLaren most probably will get a better start than the Mustang. It's just the nature of that car. But the Mustang on that straight line speed is very fast, so it could be by the time we get to turn 1 relatively equal. So we'll have to keep an eye on that actually. I do think this is quite bleached out. If we get a moment halfway through the race, I might actually change it a little bit back to how it was. Not by too much, but just a little bit. If I get a chance, I'll do that. But for now, this is how it is. We're now into the final corners of this formation lap, and we will be getting away very, very shortly. Something I didn't mention before actually is USB Skittle car. It is going to be referred to as a Skittles car the entire race, unless I accidentally say USB, but that's how it's working. I would like a camera angle of the lights if we could get one, Kronos please, but if not, all the drivers now side by side in the boxes, 30 drivers. We will get away. Late breakjacking by the Mustang. Green light will be happening very, very shortly as we now see the drivers get ready. You should be going green any second now. I need a better camera angle, goodness. It should be late lights. There's the lights, you can see them. We no longer can see them, but it is green lights, and we are away as the McLaren does get a better start. Like I mentioned, the BMW making it 3 between the BMW and the other Aston. A little bit of contact from the BMW and the Ferrari, but late braking from the Mustang allows them to keep the position, but the McLaren are still up the inside, still side by side, 2 by 2, few drivers off the track, but the Mustang does hold on. But we see USB side by side with the BMW. We'll have to see how he gets on. Does hold the position for now. Plenty of action already in this race. A few drivers off track. As we do see a little bit more. We'll see how the bottom of the field is. I presume there's a few drivers at the top that have a little bit of spin at the front. I didn't see who, but we'll find out. There's lots of contact in that second corner. Multiple drivers making contact. I think that was Ben Healy actually going into the wall. So it's all manic down in the midfield. Literally, I think that was 4 wide I've just seen just there, but everyone traffic standing. But yeah, not what you would say is optimal at a track like this, but this is what you get when you have 30 drivers. Will holding his Audi side by side. There's contact between the Ferrari and the other Audi, and there's lots of contact coming up the hill. Not great. You see Merc twitching. There is action absolutely everywhere. I presume Kelly will get a nice run out of this and probably into a move come the final corners of this racetrack. looking for the move. Bentley's also in this action as well, which is great to see. Kelly does look for the move, and Merck does hold on. But back to the start again, Mustang is leading us after lap 1. It is the McLaren that follows, and then Usby, and then Luca and Kanai. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I mispronounce it. But looking for a move into turn 1 on the outside. Mustang, BMW does hold him off. It's Harry just behind him as well. So plenty of action. BMW looking for a lovely switchback, and he does make it, and he's going to be on the inside for this corner. But obviously the outside probably best for this because it lines up for the next corner. Yep, BMW does look back, maybe looking for a position, does so. On the outside for the uphill, a little bit of damage on that front bumper, so maybe a little bit of contact like we saw at the start. Great camera angle, Gunners, thank you very much. Still on the outside, I think we'll tuck in now. Absolutely will do so, but I think that is a Bentley on the very back of Harry, looking for a move. That's something you not see very often, actually. I'm very impressed that Bentley has made it up there. Obviously, still a relatively decent car, but not one you see often. Do see obviously Nick following just behind them. You see them, I would say, start to spread out. They've sort of spread out into groups of different cars. Still plenty of action around this racetrack. There's Matt Denning going off into the thing, maybe a bit of contact or making a mistake, but he rejoins the track nice and safely, which is great to see. But we will see side by side into the chicane, maybe not anymore. That's Ben Ely just behind as well, probably looking for a move. Aston gets all over the curbs. Sufficient though. I don't know if Ben has got damage on his car. It looks a bit dirty, so possibly. But again, plenty of action happening. See Thiago, 1.3 second lead. He's really pulling out the lap time at the moment, but I believe that is Kanai looking for a move again, this time for the inside. Not close enough. Harry just behind. That might have actually compromised his exit for this next corner with Harry just behind him. I presume Harry might be looking for an onboard. We'll go on board with Harry as he comes down into his first sector. Looking to set up a move potentially as they get close to the back of Luca. Train starting to form here as Luca starts to break away from the top 3. Maybe a mistake for the BMW, which allows Harry up the inside. And will maybe even be full position gained before the next corner. Great making use of that. It's good to see. Obviously Bentley also not far behind, so any mistakes will be caught upon. We'll go down to Batek, which I believe is actually somewhere at the front. Could be mistaken, but he is making a move on the Audi. Still side by side as they come up to the downhill. He's going to get the nose in. Audi, a lot of damage to that Audi. A little bit of a spin. I'm not sure if that was contact initiated. I wasn't really paying attention, I'll be honest, but we'll have to see how that goes. But something that is happening is Andrea looking for a move on Nick in the Porsche. It's side by side, nice and clean for both drivers. That's Ninekin just behind as well, maybe looking for a move out of this. We'll have to see how they get on. Obviously, actually that Honda's not that far behind either, so it's great to see some of these older cars getting involved in this action. If I haven't mentioned already, like I said, they have got to do one pit stop today. So in terms of strategy, obviously you would imagine most of them pitting around the halfway mark. A little bit of early braking from Nick there, which has had to get Andrea on the brakes more than he would probably have liked, but Honda catching up as well. So some great action going on. I'm actually going to go on the onboard of, not onboard, but the wing cam. That is the BMW just behind making a mistake. It is going to allow Ninekin around the outside to fully make that position. I believe, yes, great move from Ninekin there. Just ahead, actually, we do see that Bentley has made the move on the BMW. Fantastic to see up into P6 for the Bentley as they now chase down Harry. Most likely has breached a little bit of the gap, so that's good to see. A little bit of contact made by the BMW. BMW does rear end the Bentley. Bentley is in an awkward position right on the racing line as he tries to rejoin. It's just keeping it safe. Now needs to get up to speed relatively quickly, and does so. So back into this race, but super unfortunate. Was running well and now down 8 positions. So super unfortunate, but hopefully he can get back in this race relatively quickly. Top now has started to spread out a little bit, but it is Heineken now looking for a move on Nick. Obviously with that earlier trouble, it should be a move. Ferrari looks great position for a move into turn 1. Go on passenger cam. Nick can probably see him in the mirrors. Which way is he going to go? He does go to the outside, but will it be enough for turn 1? They are alongside. But to see how this plans out. No, Heineken backs out of it nice and early. Maybe looking for another place to set up. Like I said, turn 1s and 2 are relatively tight with these GT3 cars, and that is the BMW going gravel hopping. But yeah, these drivers obviously trying to pick their moves carefully. It is a relatively tight track, so, and these GT3 cars, big and heavy, maybe not best suited for a track like this, but it's all part of the fun. Definitely in a 2-hour race, you got to think about if it's worth it or not, rather than sending a dive bomb in every corner. I don't think do see Bentley making his way back up the grid. It does tap the rear quarter of Kelly, and that's the Mustang flying off the racing line. And this is super unfortunate as neither of them can rejoin. Kelly's in an awkward position as the McLaren nearly hits him. The BMW taps him. That is Kelly, but the Bentley is waiting for him. Super unfortunate as he gets tapped, and again, super unfortunate position to be in, as Kelly was literally on the racing line. Luckily the Bentley does wait for him. That's great sportsmanship to see. Again, super unfortunate for the both of them, and that does put the Bentley down even more positions now. P25 and P26 are these two. Not the divisions they want to be in, but it's a 2-hour race. It's only been 10 minutes, so they'll be looking to make a move. But Luca Mari looking for a move on Usby, who's actually dropped off from top 2. But speaking of that, Thiago is actually miles ahead by 4 seconds. Literally, well, to these guys about a second a lap quicker. So crazy pace from Thiago. So we're looking for a race victory, no doubt. Again, this all could change on the pit stop. So you lose a lot more time in the pit stops than you do anywhere else on this track. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We'll go on board with Luca again. Not the livery I don't have, but it is the BMW versus the skillful car. So hopefully we get a nice clean battle. Obviously these two probably not wanting to fight the most unless Luca has much more pace than Usby. As Usby actually getting a lot of slide on the rear. Actually going to put him under a little bit of pressure coming into the chicane, as the BMW is almost pushing him through. I think a mistake from Usby last time round, as his lap time was way off some of the others. So I don't know, not ideal for Usby, as he's now got a little bit of pressure. But if they can keep pace, they might end up working together. So let's see how it plans out. I think that's the car 31 that's ended up spinning. That's Will. Unfortunately has, I think, made a little bit of contact into that place. But it is Mark Mass also going a little bit wide, but has got some of those drivers we've seen before. That Bentley is flashing all over the back of that Audi. Obviously the Bentley and Kelly looking to make their way through the grid again. Again, the Audi's still out with that damage. That must be an absolute horror to drive that Audi. We'll have to see how that goes for them. Another close battle. It's Callum Baker getting a little bit antsy on the grass. A lot of damage on the McLaren as well. That's a lot of damage for that BMW behind. I mean, I don't know where half this damage has come from, but we have seen a lot of damage on lap 1. We did see a few pile-ups. So I believe actually that's a car I have not seen in a long time. Great to see the old Ferrari out on track. Again, still decent position for the Ferrari. Be looking to chase on this train of Callum's. Looking for a move relatively quickly, but that is the Bentley alongside Mark Mass into Sector 1. Bentley's going to hold it on the inside, but Mark's going to hold it now to the inside of this corner. But Bentley goes around the outside and does make that move nice and clean. That Kelly's going to allow the position to dive up the inside, I can imagine. Does back out of it a little bit, but maybe looking not the position or the way Kelly will want to get past nice and safely. But he now will lose time, I would imagine, to the Bentley, so he'll want to try to get past as soon as possible. We'll head up the grid again as we see the Honda of Hanzo Voss chasing after Elliot Barron in that Mercedes, who's also chasing in the BMW. So again, trains starting to form, like I said, basically into groups, so plenty of action between them, but I believe that's Luca Mari a little bit all over the back of usually similar lap times last time round, but usually he's going to have the pressure of the BMW behind him. So we'll have to see how these two plan out their attack, you could say. We'll have to keep an eye on these lap times as well, because P2, P3, P4 all setting the same lap times at the moment, with the alien of Thiago doing 7/10 quicker laps, as he builds the gap up to almost 6 seconds now. But we'll head down the grid again. I believe that's Darkness under a little bit of pressure from the Ferrari. Again, nice livery on that Aston Martin. So great to see Darkness in a car that probably looks a little bit more comfortable for him, as he's up on P17 at the moment, which is a great position for him. A little bit wide, but we'll have to see how these two do get on. Tim Flake, I believe that's how I pronounce your name, on the back of the other Mustang in this race. So only two Renault Mustangs this race, but again, they should be, well, I say should be, they are the most OP car at the moment with the ballast, so we'll have to see how they get on. But yeah, BMW putting a lot of pressure on that Mustang, looking probably for a pass, so you can imagine he's that close, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. But USB actually lost out to Luca last lap. I did not catch it, but USB maybe looking for the re-overtake into turn 1, backs out of it come turn 1, but not optimal for USB now, as he can now the trailing car. Again, not a mistake for USB, I can imagine. He's 5/10 slower than Luca, so maybe a little bit wide in these final corners, which is what would have put him behind. Or in that chicane, like I said earlier, he did mention before the race to me that he is not enjoying that chicane, and he hates this track, so the Skittle car probably not helping out. It's maybe a little bit too bright, but we'll have to see how that all plays out. As we'll actually go down the grid again as Kelly all over the back of Mark still. Again, I told you, he was losing time. He, in fact, he lost 6.6 seconds already to the Bentley ahead. As you see the first penalties of this race be applied. Obviously live streaming today, so hopefully this could be game changing for some of these drivers. Or race changing, sorry. Kelly looking for a dive up the middle this first sector. Bit of an unusual place to make a dive, but it has put the pressure on Mark, and Mark has gone into the gravel. Great initiative by Kelly, as Kelly will look around the outside and does not this time back out, and does fully make the move, and now be looking to chase after his Bentley friend. In other news, the Bentley has caught up and has now passed the old 480 Ferrari. A mistake from that Ferrari, unfortunately, but now we'll have to catch up with the rest of the grid as he starts to join some of the trains again, as he tries to make his way back up. Currently in P21. We'll probably be looking for a top 10 finish today in that Bentley. We'll have to keep an eye on his progress throughout this race, but at the moment it seems like he's doing just fine. We will go back actually to the top P3 and P4s. Again, used to be a mistake. The last lap time invalidated 43.2 against Luca's 42.1, so I don't think he's liking it at the moment. Maybe the pressure is starting to get to him, or the setup doesn't feel just right, but we'll have to see. I believe it's just a skittle car. I think it's too much. It's slowing him down, all that paint. So we'll have to see how that works out. Thank you for the follow, Fortem. We'll have to see how this all plays out for you, but obviously now trailing even more, he's just losing lap time. I'm actually going to go watch his onboard for this chicane. We'll judge if he's loving it or hating it. Will be the driving coach today. Oh yeah, he's not loving that. You can hear the Ferrari struggling on the exit of that second curve. That's where he's losing his time. So again, maybe not enough on the ride height. Obviously, Usby did say he only made it in 10 laps yesterday, and only had some time today to readjust it. Obviously, only excuses from Usby, as he doesn't want to reveal that the Skittles paintwork is slowing him down. We all know it to be true, unfortunately. So we'll have to confront him after the race. But moving on, Julian, who had put in an exceptional qualifying performance in that McLaren, now chasing for P10. Maybe he's one of the drivers that got unlucky at the start. I did not see, but he's looking for an overtake on Elliott in that Merc. He pulls to the outside. It should be a nice move if he can complete it. I think that Merc's going to have a little bit more late braking than they are. McLaren looking for the switchback. A little bit of damage on that bodywork, so maybe he does have a little bit of damage around the outside. Merc pushes him just wide, but it's going to leave just enough space. Mercedes on the inside, a little bit of rubbing on the sheet, and the McLaren, lovely move, pushes him wide. Lovely racing. That's great racing from Julian and Elliott there, as they fight for P10 between them. Julian now will be looking to join the train ahead of him, that is currently led by Nick in that Porsche, chased by Ninekin still, and now Andrea as well. Again, no moves being made at the moment. They're at still decent distances. We'll be looking for it to pass each other, I can imagine so, with minimal mistakes. Usby actually catching a little bit back to Mary there, so we'll have to see how this plays out. I can also see the 33 BMW looking for a move on Harry. We'll actually go on board with Harry now. Actually, I don't know if that BMW will get the straight line speed down the straight. We'll go on the wing cam. Obviously the Aston wing is humongous, so we're not going to see a lot, but we'll see how this plays out for him. I'm not sure the BMW is going to get the greatest of slipstream. I could be wrong coming to turn 1. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. I don't think so. I could be wrong. No, BMW holds position for now. Obviously, could look for a move, a little bit of a twitch from Harry's car there. So, all to play for still. These two very close, but there's a 97 that's gone off track. I'm trying to figure out who that is. It is backwards. There's a BMW backwards from the chicane. That is what some would say suboptimal, as I don't think he can get the car started. It does get it started in the end there, it gets going. Super unfortunate for Jason there, but he is running again, so hopefully we'll continue. Callum Baker as well, now chasing after the Bentley. I believe that he's been passed by that Bentley, because this is the Bentley we've been watching for a while, making their comeback throughout this race. Currently P17, so great for them. As we'll actually see, Usby actually got within 1 second again of Luca, so that maybe he's found out the secret of that chicane, or he stripped off some of that paintwork by opening the window. Who knows? As I say that, as race control decides to update until he's just lost 6 tenths, so who knows? It's back and forth for Usby as his struggle continues. Full beams on for that BMW. Maybe trying to blind the race officials as a way of rigging the race. Who knows? We'll have to see on that. But again, that BMW against Harry still very close for the second time. I think a little bit closer this time, but not close enough still. Yep, stays behind Harry. But again, putting the pressure on as they head on to the 12th lap of this race with 20 minutes been driven. It's actually a great exit from that BMW there, making himself visible in the mirrors, putting a little bit more pressure on Harry. To see a little bit of grass touching by the BMW, and a bit of damage on his bumper as well. Gets really close to the back of Harry there, maybe almost pushing him through that corner. But to see how they get on, he's flashing. He is being the classic BMW driver. But we'll see how this all plays out. But just ahead, I think just ahead of them in terms of, I don't know, there's blue flags, my apologies. So I was seeing on the track map there's a huge collection of cars. There is the 181 spun out just ahead of these guys, so I have to watch out for that. Where is the 181? It is Ben Beams. Thank Konos for the camera angle. He's in the grass. He's trying to make his way safely to rejoin the track. Now, unfortunately, in a position where he has to give way to about 17 bazillion cars. So, super unfortunate. See how they get on. He's be 2 seconds behind Luca now. So, maybe I was wrong. Maybe he stuck that paintwork back on. Who knows? We'll have to see. But again, we see that BMW on the back of Harry. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. But again, I don't think not as close as he was last lap. So, wouldn't imagine a pass at this moment. I think his best chance is in sector 1. We saw how close it got. Have to see how he uses this advantage. Thank you, Matt95, for the follow as well. Sorry for a little bit slow on these. I'm not actively looking at my monitor for it, but I will get round to it at some point. Trust me. Big slide for the BMW as he chases after Harry. Probably helped Harry a little bit. And that does bring me to another point as well. These guys have got to make a decision if they want tyres or not at the pit stop. Personally, I want tyres. I'd probably be driving that hard into the barrier. I'm going to need it. But obviously only fuel mandatory for these guys today. The question is, do they take tyres? I mean, they're going to get hot, but if they're aggressive at the start, they wear out quicker. If they're being more safe at the start, then they wear out slower. So we'll have to see what each driver's plan is. I can't imagine it to be too different from everyone else's, as everyone will sort of have the same idea, I would imagine, in terms of how they want to race their race. It's, another close battle on track is Ninekin and Nick. Still Ninekin chasing Nick. Gap's just under a second, and the gap's starting to thin out just behind Ninekin as well. But still, these guys are still relatively close to each other, and any mistake could be costly for them. Well, you know, someone we haven't talked about in a while is the leader. 10 seconds now ahead of the rest. Serious pace from this guy, still in the 41s, and everyone else is doing 42s, so really shows the pace that Thiago's got here today. Again, mistake could cost the race still, you never know. 10 seconds, although is quite a lot, it still could be enough for these guys to pass if he makes a mistake at any point this race. So no pressure, but certainly won't be looking to lose focus, I can imagine. It's actually a pass from me, because Andrea has gone into the gravel. You can see the massive amount of damage he's got on the front end of his BMW, and it's going to slide actually back into the gravel. Unfortunately, it's actually going to lose multiple positions, unfortunately, but does rejoin. But that BMW is not looking like a happy BMW. Yeah, just look at that. I can see the engine from this camera angle. So yeah, I mean that'll be looking at a hefty pit stop, because I would want that repaired, because that would be costing him so much aerodynamic and lap time. Super unfortunate, but we'll move on. As again, this BMW and Aston fight does get a little bit more interesting. BMW start to drop off a little bit, but still in contention. Maybe looking for a pass, or maybe they're working together, who knows. We won't know the game plan until it actually happens, but I don't think close enough. But we do see Julian on the back of Ninekin. Maybe a mistake from Ninekin as he drops off a lot more from Nick. We do see the McLaren must probably be almost alongside Ninekin. Ninekin says, "Pass me on the left, please," and he does. He's going to pass him on the left. Is Ninekin going to give this one up? He is going to give this one up. Maybe a little bit of a switch there. Maybe Julian, he knows Julian's faster, or he's going to try and use Julian to help him push along, back up to Nick. Let's see how that works out for him. But so far, Julian through for P8. What else do we see? We can see again Harry losing a lot of time through that corner as we end up getting 2/10 just through that corner alone. Still not that close. It's 0.6 of a second at the moment, but still all to play for these two as they currently fight top 5 at the moment. So it's 27 cars left in this race, so we've lost 3, but still everyone's fighting for something today. As we actually see once again the Bentley, number 21, all over the back of Samuel in the other Bentley. It's the battle of the Bentleys. Jacob pulls out to the left on the inside, and I believe Callum just let him through that. No, not worth fighting it if he's, you know, much faster than you. So we'll have to see as he puts himself back up to P15. And you remember, only a couple of laps ago, this guy was P24. So great recovery drive for Jacob. And we're looking to chase down Ben Ely, who's currently 3.4 seconds ahead of him, and I believe he's visible. So we're looking to chase him down pretty soon. I'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, I am back. We do see again the BMW again on the back of Harry, flashing once again. Maybe, I don't know what Harry's game plan is here, but the BMW seems to be much faster through this Sector 1 and Sector 2 section, but doesn't have enough in Sector 3. We'll have to see how that is, and I don't want to bother you, Harry, but if you get the chance, how's it looking?
It's a bit hectic out here. The pressure's on my Aston are feeling fine, but the car itself is just feeling a bit slidey, so I don't know if it's something to do with the temperatures or what.
I mean, I don't know, I haven't really paid attention to the temperatures, but it's looking well, pretty optimal. But the BMW does pull out to the left hand side, looks for the move down the inside. Just going to leave a little bit of contact there, but I didn't get the best camera angle of that, to be honest. But yeah, Harry looking for the re-overtake into turn 1 is really close to the back of the BMW. We'll be looking for a overtake. It does pull out to the right hand side now alongside the BMW. As they come down to turn 1, it'll be Harry on the outside. The BMW's just got a lot more straight line speed, and I presume that will be the BMW still. But now Harry's still on the outside. Into turn 1 they go. It leaves just enough space for the BMW. Harry probably looking for a switchback into the second corner, gets a little bit of a nudge, and BMW goes into the barrier as they make contact, but a little bit more contact made there, but that has allowed Nick to catch up just behind them. So super unfortunate that, but now BMW does have a lot of damage. So Harry looking for the re-overtake around the outside. It'll be Nick looking to make the most out of this, but still Harry on the outside. BMW on the inside. BMW with a fair amount of front damage, so we'll be losing a little bit of aerodynamic stability, but still Harry on the outside, BMW on the inside, still very fair and clean. As they're still side by side into sector 2. Maybe BMW around the outside, but Harry maybe looking for his nose, doesn't look it. But it'll be Nick and just behind now, and BMW just in front. But again, it's not just Nick just behind, it is the McLaren of Julian. We've seen his drive so far. He's been overtaking cars left and right, so looking for a pass on all these guys very, very soon. We'll have to see how he get on, but we will actually stay on board with Julian as he does think about a move into the final corners of this racetrack. Doesn't go through with it, but we'll be looking for an overtake on Nick relatively soon. He's actually quite close to the back of that Porsche. We'll have to see how close he gets by turn 1. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but I could be wrong, and I think I am going to be wrong, because he's going to pull out to the right hand side, round the outside. Side by side they go. McLaren does brake early, maybe looking for the switch back into the next, but maybe around the outside for the second corner. Does make it so, and now the inside for the third. Porsche does slide a little bit, but that is Julian up into P7. Fantastic move, like we've seen so far. And with damage, McLaren took a little bit of side damage on the thing. I don't think it's any more to McLaren, so it would be minimal damage, but interesting to see how this all plays out. Porsche obviously with the acceleration there might get a good run. I'm not sure it's close enough. We'll go on board with the Bentley though, who's just behind Ben Ely, literally on his bumper. Maybe looking for a pass into sector 1. No, thinks about it, backs out of it. But yep, looking for another pass. We did say he was close. He was only 3.4 seconds. Here we are, you know, 4 laps later. So great pace from this Bentley. And he's looking for a pass up the inside now alongside Ben. As they head towards the next corner, but the Lexus obviously with the straight line speeds is literally going to be impossible to overtake. Be looking for a pass, can't find a way through for that Bentley. Looking maybe for a pass next time, or maybe very soon. Let's just see how they get on. We'll go on board with Kelly actually, who's on the back of Callum Baker. Looking for a pass maybe into this sector. Didn't think about it, but didn't go for it. Obviously we'll go on board with Kelly Camp. This is how Kelly races everyone. We will. So this is exactly what you're saying. You're seeing driver's eye POV. So maybe looking for a pass on the McLaren very soon. We'll actually go back on board with the Bentley. He's looking for a move on the Lexus. And the Lexus going a little bit wide. Maybe not. Might get a decent exit out of it still. But you'll see how much this Lexus pulls away on the straight. I mean, I don't think I need to say much more. You can watch it on Helicam. But still, I mean, actually does quite relatively match against the Bentley, but Lexus does hold his own. No fear of being overtaken for the Lexus, but actually the Bentley does close up quite a bit on the straight. So again, not that much, so we'll have to see. And that is, I believe, yes. That was Kanai with a drive-through penalty. He can't find him on race control.
I think he's had a wheel disconnect because he had the accelerator held down into turn 1.
Oh, that's super unfortunate.
And kept it held down like all the way into sort of turn 2, turn 3, turn 4.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then he returned to the pit lane and he's gone now. So
yeah,
that's unfortunate to see.
Yeah,
and I was having a good battle with him as well. So
yeah, unfortunate to see. Obviously live from Harry Cam down there. But yeah, I mean, you know, technical difficulties seem to be happening. So a wheel disconnect in an endurance race is not optimal, especially with only 40 minutes gone by. So I know it's super unfortunate, but I hope to see him in the next one, maybe with a fixed wheel. But we'll go back on board with Julian. He actually is now starting to close on Harry. Like I said, we've seen him overtaking cars left and right, so maybe looking for a pass on Harry very soon. I'll have to keep an eye on that one as they go. But another person that's been overtaking left and right is Jacob, is on the back of the Lexus again, a lot closer this time, so maybe with that slipstream could be looking for a pass into turn 1. Obviously Bentley and Lexus seem to be fairly matched for speed. I wasn't expecting that to be the case, but Lexus defends the inside, Bentley around the outside. As soon as he pulls up the slipstream, you can see the Lexus start to pull away, but later braking for the Bentley around the outside to turn 1, for the inside for turn 2. Very clean race, but the Lexus going to have the inside line for turn 3, and that's almost a pass for the Bentley. But the Lexus, great defending from Ben there. As Bentley looks for another pass but doesn't get it. But does get a much better exit for towards the uphill now. Late braking again from the Bentley all the way around the outside, not going to hold it, I don't think. Yeah, Lexus is going to pull away once again. I mean, Lexus is pretty much saving Ben there. He's trying everything to hold on, and the Bentley's trying everything to get past. Again, this is the closest battle on track at the moment, as the other one obviously being Julian and Harry. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. These two very, very close. And Bentley will most probably be looking for a pass, and a desperate one at that, very, very soon. All over the back of Ben at the moment, especially pushing him down this straight. But it does pull out to the left-hand side for the chicane. Does not think about it though. That's a great decision, because I would imagine two side by side into the chicane would have been quite a mess. But you never know. I could be wrong, and I hope to be proved wrong at some point in this race. We've got an hour and 20 to go. See the Bentley again trying to set up against the Lexus for the straight. I mean, hopefully this time he can try and move on the outside at turn 1. A little bit in the gravel for the Bentley. But we'll see. We'll go on bonnet cam. You can see the Bentley pulling in closer and closer to this Lexus. He will again think about this time. He's holding off for a late move up the inside. At turn 1, it doesn't think about it. It does put a little bit of pressure on Ben. Ben holds his line nicely. And I don't think that's going to be a move for the Bentley. I think Ben's holding on very nicely at the moment. Bentley's trying to put on all the pressure, and Ben's doing just fine, which is good to see.
Julian spun behind me.
Julian has indeed spun behind him as he loses much time. And that's actually going to put him under pressure for Ninekin, possibly into the chicane. Ninekin does pull out to the outside, and that could be a move for Ninekin. They're going to go side by side into the chicane. Ninekin does back out of that last minute though. I don't think anything was lost other than Julian losing lots of time and a position. Super unfortunate, but again, it could all change in a few laps' time as he gets back up the pace. We will cut back to Jacob though, again all over the back of Ben, still all over the back of Ben, pushing him up the hill. I think he's going to try and make the move this time. I mean, he's got to try and get past somehow. Now he's going to try and set up against the chicane again. Again pushing, he has to brake on the chicane for Ben ahead. But we'll now be looking for a pass, I would imagine. Very close, he's actually that close, he might even make a pass into the final corners of this lap. No, doesn't think about it. Again, going to set up pushes, well not pushes, but Ben goes a little bit deep. Again, sets up nicely for the final corner. And again, he'll get the slipstream from the Lexus again. And we try for the third time this time, maybe for the pass. We'll have to go on board with Helicam at the moment, so you can see the gap. He pulls out to the right, then to the left, then to the right. He's looking anywhere he can find a gap. And look, you can see the big swooper there, and he is going to pressure Ben, but that is wide for the Bentley. But the Bentley does tag the Lexus, and that's both of them round. Luckily, Ben gets away with it, but he doesn't. Ben has spun ahead, and they're going to lose from that massively. Bentley does trying to get going again. Super unfortunate. Ben did catch the car, and then lost it on the rejoin. As again, that puts them literally next to each other. And they, I don't think they lost actually that much, but they just lost time. But luckily, obviously that shows how desperate this Bentley is to try and get past. Obviously super unfortunate the way that happened. Bentley got a little bit slidey and accidentally tagged the rear of the Lexus. But it all over again now for the Bentleys. He's got to try once again. As we'll head on to, we'll go back to Ninekin actually, as he still tries to hold on from Julian. Julian's actually trying to pull away a little bit again as he refines that pace and focus. But Ninekin will be trying to stay within a decent amount of lap time. Obviously not enough for the slipstream, but maybe just trying to get a little bit closer and try to drag him away from the Mercedes of Elliot Barron, who's still holding his own at the moment in P9. So very nice to see, and a Honda that is P10. Which is something I was not expecting to see today, but still great to see some of these older cars happen. Obviously, like I said, I would explain about Career Mode, and I will just now. Obviously, Career Mode started earlier this week on Tuesday with our standard races. Obviously, that was the first race of Career Mode. Now this is the second. Obviously, this is slightly different now. This is a mini endurance race. As you can see, it's only a 2-hour race, and it tests the drivers in different ways. Obviously, like any Career Mode would. So how does it work? Obviously, for drivers, you know, your fighting positions, sponsors, and team allocations. Yes, you can create your own teams. You can manage your own teams. And obviously you can get those sponsors and try and achieve them. I know a few drivers were happy about meeting their sponsor targets yesterday, after the race on Tuesday. After obviously different targets for different sponsors, and it really challenges some of the drivers to either get out of their comfort zone and try push, or try something a bit more laid back. There's plenty of targets for different types of drivers. Obviously there's up to 5 races a week at the moment. Obviously we've got the Sunday race this Sunday as well, which is a really exciting race. It should be. Obviously both team standings and solo standings for this one, so you're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for your team, which obviously encourages some of the drivers to once again push into a different comfort zone. So we'll go back on board with Yusufi as he slowly catches Luca once again. He's caught up massively, maybe a mistake from Luca which has caused all of that, but you can see on Yusufi's car, I don't know if we can see it a bit better, maybe a heli cam, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see the sponsors on his car. So you know, some of these drivers are repping the team, well, you could say fake sponsors that ACM made up to give these drivers a realistic feel on how career mode would work in ACC. So they're repping their sponsors on their liveries, which is great to see. But yeah, obviously for teams specifically, so you can recruit drivers. You can make your own contracts for these drivers. It's really something you've never seen on ACC before, and something really excited that's happening as we get underway for our first week. Obviously, this time from October to December is only a trial season, so we're testing stuff. Things could constantly change all the time, so we're looking for more drivers to give us more feedback and how we can improve and make the experience much better. So if that sounds interesting, obviously make sure you head up to acm-racing.com and you can get yourself signed up from there. I'm not sure if Harry wants to mention anything more about that at all.
Nothing else really, just the fact that come 2025 there'll be a lot more than ACC as well. So if you don't have ACC currently, you're looking into getting to AC Evo, or you've got Le Mans Ultimate for example, we'll be heading into those in the new year as well, so keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously plenty of games for different types of drivers, and speaking of games as well, you can pick up those games on YUPLAY, which is obviously very thanks to YUPLAY for making this all possible. So obviously you want the best deals on all the sim racing games, or any game for that matter. Obviously you can use YUPLAY. They give some great deals and constantly updating their selection at some great prices. It's definitely the place to go to add to your library for sure. Obviously at the moment I believe YUPLAY obviously constantly on sale for ACC a lot, actually I see. So maybe looking to pick up some of those DLCs like Imola for example, then you can do so at YUPLAY, as I mentioned previously. But we'll move on now. As you see, Kelly and Yusufi looking for overtakes on both of their drivers ahead. So Kelly looking for a move on Ben. I believe, actually, I don't know what happened to that McLaren. I'm losing the plot, but Kelly looking for an overtake on the Lexus, and Yusufi obviously looking for the overtake on Mary. We'll stay on board with this this fight for P3 at the moment, as it is the most exciting so far, as these guys find and start to fight their way through blue flags. You can see there's blue flags fighting ahead of them, or blue flags being blue flagged by blue flags. It's blue flag inception. But all the while, these guys are going to try and make their way through and lose as little time as possible. So I'm interested to see how they get on with that. But other than that, I think actually most of the drivers at the moment are relatively spread out from each other. The trains have sort of started to fizzle out a little bit. Everyone starts to settle in now as we almost reach the 1 hour mark into this race. Actually, people maybe potentially thinking about pit stops soon, as one of the drivers that has done a pit stop is the guy in P22. It's Andrea. So we were seeing him earlier with a little bit of damage, so maybe doing an early pit stop. But the question for him is, will he have enough fuel to continue? We'll have to see how that goes for him. There's also a few drivers at the back of the grid also have completed their pit stops, but I would imagine they would want some more fuel come the end of this race. But Julian on the back of Nick, actually very close to these two. I was not expecting that, maybe a mistake from Nick potentially, but that's Julian on the inside of these final corners, and he will make the pass now. Obviously spinning out earlier, I think does make the re-overtake on Nick after losing out. And now we're looking to re-overtake, or attempt to re-overtake, no, attempt again to overtake Harry, that is the correct wording. We'll have to see how that goes in a couple of laps' time for him as he really starts to set the pace. Kelly again still looking to overtake the Lexus. I'd imagine, especially in that Ferrari, it's going to be a real struggle on that straight line to the Lexus. It's going to lose a lot, so Kelly most probably going to have to make his overtake within the first, well, 3/4 of this racetrack. So we'll have to see how it gets on with that. Again, very nice so far. We see Usby still getting close to the back of Luca. So we'll have to see how that goes. Obviously the chicane once again to Usby. Let's see if he's improved. It looks like he's found a new line. Not necessarily helping in the second bump, but not much I don't think he can do about that. But he's got a new line into the first part of that chicane. So hopefully, it seems to be going well for him as he's managed to catch Luca back up. So hopefully he can look for a pass, which he just look really close to the back of him at the moment. We'll have to see. It's going to be enough because that is Luca making a mistake into the final corner, and that is going to allow you to get fully ahead even before the end of the lap. So Usby now rear ahead of Luca from earlier, and now be looking to set the pace to potentially catch Maurice, who's currently just running his own race at the moment, chilling in P2. But someone who is running their own race at the moment will be Tiago, who is actually seems to be having it's not that alone. He's with some of the blue flags at the moment. Again, still setting some incredible lap times compared to the other drivers, still in the 41s last time round. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem to be lifting from the accelerator pedal at all. So great to see, and hopefully no mistakes from him. But one thing, we'll go back on board with Luca, who's actually dropped off a little bit from Usby. I'm not sure, potentially, I don't know, maybe another mistake, but still, these guys are only half a second between each other, but obviously was a lot closer than that. I'm going to watch Luca's chicane compared to Usby, see if this is where Luca can gain some time potentially. Here you can see Usby's new line, and that being that he just eats those curves, you can see how much time he gains on the Ferrari driver just through that chicane alone. Thank you Chukio for the follow as well. Great to see some new followers on the ACM Twitch channel. We'll actually go on board with Kelly, who's again on the back of the Lexus, still trying to find a way past, but he's really close to the back of the Lexus at the moment. Maybe looking for a pass relatively soon. He's that close enough now, I think he could try set one up. Have to see. He is going to look for the outside maybe. Yeah, the Lexus defends well, holds the middle of the track. A little bit of a lock up from the Lexus actually into that corner. You can see the tyre skidding a little bit. You can see Kelly still all over the back of Ben there, but that person is behind. It is Tiago, so Tiago will be looking to lap these guys soon, and maybe that could change the face of this battle completely. Obviously you lose time as a blue flag, but if you do it in the correct way, you're not losing any time at all. So I have to see how these guys get on with that. And in terms of things, actually there's not actually that much anymore. I mean, there's Luca and Usby, but Luca seems to be dropping off a lot more at the moment. Currently 8/10 of Usby, so Usby putting in some better pace now. Now he's got some clean air ahead of him. And see Kelly trying to catch the Lexus once again. We'll actually go on board with Kelly Camp, and we'll start to see how much that Lexus pulls away from the Ferrari on the straight alone. Well, actually I don't even think this camera angle does it justice, to be honest. We'll go on board with Helicam. You can see already, like, the lap time, you can see the difference. It's gone from, like 3/10 to almost, we'll see by turn 1 when it updates, 6/10. So again, that's crazy. But I think Ben's going to lose a lot of time in blue flags, but he's not going to lose time because this is an actual fight for position as the Bentley slows down. So this is a three-way fight now. I thought it was a blue flag, to be honest, but the Bentley's involved in this now. This changes everything. As Kelly's still looking for the pass, he's going to look for the outside move, and he's going to hold it all the way around the outside. The Lexus again, like we've seen before, is just pulling away on the acceleration. nothing Kelly can do. Kelly flashing, trying to get past, as he believes he has the better pace at the moment. But it is the other Bentley, Cairo Samuel, and the number 77 Bentley, currently leading these guys. Obviously, there you go. You can see Tiago in all of this. Kelly's given way already, but you know, Tiago will be looking to get out of the way. Sorry, Ben and Cairo will be looking to get out of the way as soon as possible, because otherwise they're losing more time than they will gain out of this situation. Obviously, Samuel also got to pass a blue flag ahead of him. I believe that's Callum Blythe. You can see Ben giving way to Tiago there, but it is Samuel. So you can see what happens when you get blue flagged, but I believe Samuel will lose time now compared to everyone else. It's actually Blythe not getting out of the way, but it's going to be double blue flags. Blythe in the pit lane, and that is the Mustang through. You can see actually Samuel's got away a little bit more time than he probably should have deserved out of that. So maybe help him a little bit more, but Kelly's still looking for that overtake into the corner. Luca Marie, as in the moment, I believe that was someone in the gravel I just pulled away from, but I don't know who that was. I think it was very minor. Oh no, it's Kelly. It was Kelly. It was Kelly. Kelly went into the gravel there and he's lost lots of time. Unfortunate, but hopefully he'll catch up relatively soon. But yeah, you can see Luca now actually outside the 1 second to use me. So looking to make up for that. You can definitely tell which one's Yuzumi's car, because he's literally the brightest car on track at the moment. But in terms of blue flags, Tiago has lost 2 seconds to Marius, just in blue flags alone. Yeah, you can see how much time he lost because of that. But hopefully we're looking to keep the pace up, so nothing changes drastically. So we'll go back to Ben and Samuel, as Ben will be looking for a pass of Samuel now. Obviously, like we've seen before, the Lexus and the Bentley relatively match with straight line speed, which I was not expecting, but so it won't be there where Ben gets his pass. Or maybe the Lexus a little bit quicker, but we'll have to see. Can't imagine him making a pass this time round, but maybe if the Bentley is a lot slower through sector 1, which I can imagine it will be. It's the battle of the boats, but which one is going to go swimming some more is the real question. I would imagine it would be the Lexus. Ben's Lexus has been relatively strong so far. I mean, he's put up a great defense and great attacking. The looks of it, it has obviously actually got some damage in that Lexus, so managing that pretty well. You can see all over the back of the Bentley now, so we're looking for a pass soon, I can imagine. You can see Kelly in his rearview mirror, so Kelly's again catched up a little bit more, and if these guys spend too long battling, Kelly will be back again where he was originally. You can see the pace difference Kelly has, and we need to try to get past as soon as possible to make any use out of this battle at all. You can see that Lexus catching the Bentley there. So we'll go back on board with Julian actually, because I believe Julian just broke the 1 second, or just hovering just outside of it, to Harry. Obviously this is a battle we've been looking at, well, was looking at a couple of laps ago, but Julian spun and had to remake overtakes to get up his position, and he is back now, and he's hovering at 1 second at Harry. So this could be a battle coming very, very soon. Obviously Nick not that far behind either, maybe looking to make some lap time out of this battle. We'll have to see how they get on. Obviously they're not close enough yet, unless a mistake is made, of course, but I can't imagine so. Obviously these guys just outside the top 5, obviously Harry being P5 and Julian and Nick being P6 and P7. So these guys are looking for a top 5 finish at the moment. And it looks all possible, as we just literally almost the 1 hour mark, so halfway through this race already. So as I say mistake and Harry goes wide into the corner. Maybe I shouldn't speak while he's in the VC, but it is going to allow Julian to look for a move. Yeah, he looks to the inside. It's going to be Harry has to let him go, otherwise contact would have been made. Super unfortunate, but that does put Harry under pressure from Nick now. I believe Harry flashing, not happy, but what can you do? I believe that McLaren will try and pull away as much as possible now. And the question is, does he have the pace to do so? We'll find out in a few corners' time. We'll go on board actually with Nick because he's probably going to get the best battle or best view of all this. So you can see that Porsche's really, yep, I say that as you can see how much Nick is struggling through turns 1 and 2. Porsche probably not doing too kind to him at the moment. You see another drive through for track limits. I think that's a big thing for some of these drivers today, is track limits, but Harry does make a mistake and it is going to allow Nick up the inside, or the outside, sorry. I think Harry's going to hold on to that very nicely. I believe so, but all the while this is allowing Julian to pull away. I was very close to contact there from Nick as he tries to slot in, but he is going to try look up the inside for a move. I believe it should be nice and fair here, but you know, you can see Nick getting in, but Harry closes that door. Yeah, that Porsche seems to be struggling on tyres at the moment. You can see it in its driving. But Harry looking to try and recover here. I'll leave him alone so he can focus. But we'll go on.
Oh, good, it's all good.
You're gonna die or something.
Commentator's curse was in full
Yeah.
action, but it's fine.
Well, next thing I'll say is you're gonna go into the barrier, but you know.
I am barrier.
He is barrier, guys. But we'll actually cut to Kelly. He's all over the back of Ben once again. Like I said, he was catching. And actually, I believe that's a mistake from the Bentley because he's now 3.5 seconds behind these two, and that's allowed Kelly to catch up. So maybe possible contact. So Kelly again looking for the re-overtake on the Lexus, but I think that's the Lexus going a little bit deep into the corner. It is going to allow Kelly, but the Lexus again, straight on speed and acceleration, is going to win every battle of the day, especially against that Ferrari that's going to struggle a lot. I think just like USB, someone needs to tell Kelly to open the window and paint and scratch off that paintwork to make that thing lighter. Might help him just a little bit, but obviously nothing beats USB's skittle car. That is definitely something I've never seen before. But yeah, I mean, obviously we'll go back on board actually with the other Bentley who's overtaking the Mustang for P11, as I believe that's fully ahead now. Great move from Jacob. We haven't actually heard from him in a while. Obviously trying to make up that pace as quickly as possible, as he's now 17 seconds behind P10. So we'll be looking to try and make his recovery drive or more the while. As we'll go back on board actually with Kelly as they come round towards the final corner, and as Ben pits and Kelly goes on, so that's going to allow Kelly now into some clean air to set some quicker lap times. So potentially an overcut for Kelly. I'll have to see how that goes. We'll watch Ben's pit stop. I don't know why he's got his indicator on. Someone needs to tell him to turn it off. But it should be relatively simple. Obviously, I don't know the exact amount of time you lose at a pit stop here at Imola, but it is quite a long pit lane. Not the longest, of course, but still a long one.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
You heard the spotter saying it is the halfway mark now, so these drivers will be making pit stops any time at all. You see Harry's in as well, making his pit stop on the halfway mark. Maybe getting an undercut potentially, or maybe getting overcut. Let's see how that works out for him. You see a lot of drivers in at the moment. Ben, Luna, Samuel, Elliot as well. And I presume most of these guys will come in, and these top guys will come in either this lap or next. It depends what their strategy is in terms of fuel and if they're taking tyres or not. I can imagine, Harry, that your tyres are probably shredded.
Yeah, absolutely. I was down to the 25s of the pressure, so I thought I'd come in.
Yeah, definitely the time. Obviously, you lose more time on shredded tyres than you will by adding the tyres onto the car in the pit stop. So interesting to see as Harry will exit just behind a blue flag. Or is it a blue flag? No, it's not. Yeah, it's blue flag. Yep, so hopefully they'll get out of the way relatively soon to allow Harry to continue. But you see the race leader is in the pit lane now, obviously with a relatively healthy gap. Obviously McLaren is going on to extend, maybe looking for a little bit of an overcut. We'll have to see how that works out for them. Used to be also doing the same strategy. So maybe again, obviously that Mustang did have a healthy gap, so it's all to play for. You see Luca as well in, so that's going to allow you to be to have less pressure on at the moment. We'll go on board with Julian. Julian does not go in the pit lane this time round. Let's see about Nick. Nick does not go in the pit lane this time round. Nyneken, does he come in? He does come in. And obviously the next car is actually the Honda. He's currently in P8. Obviously made some decisions from people pitting, but obviously everyone's going to have a little bit of a different strategy. So I have to see how it all the order reshuffles itself come maybe a few laps time. Obviously at the moment we've got a new race leader, obviously just from a pit stop, of course, nothing serious happened, but this McLaren we're trying to make absolutely everything, trying to make the lap of his life if he is coming in this lap. So you can see USP in the background, still not that far behind. So yeah, I mean, the strategy here, I mean, I'd try to go as long as possible. With a gap like that, I mean, you've got to certainly try and hope that the Mustang makes a mistake in the pit stop. I would imagine though, this McLaren will be coming in this lap, otherwise I think he'll be losing too much time to that Mustang than it'd be worth. Well, no, I'm not to judge, I'm not as fast as these guys, so... But yep, the Mustang does come in. I believe USP will probably must follow this. No, USP stays out. Okay, this changes a lot, because now, see, he wasn't that far behind this McLaren, so this could be a potential position change for P2 if USP gets this right. So USP last time around 42.8, so we'll have to see how that works out for him. Obviously, that Mustang. Yes, so they've done a driver change. So it's now Chandler Williams driving that number 3. We'll have to see how they manage this race now. Obviously drive changes are allowed, and I was so surprised about that, I completely forgot. But we'll have to see how this works out for them. Obviously still got a healthy lead, as again, it could change a lot. See, that McLaren is still in the pit lane. I don't know what's going on. I think that's a relatively long pit stop, maybe too long, I might be mistaken, but I guess going now, but yeah, he's going to lose the position to the Mustang, but has he gained? So the gap was roughly around 15 seconds, so let's see when he exits this line what it will be. Let's wait for the Delta to update safely. He actually gets, that's Kelly as well. I don't know if he's blue flag, but he is going to be a blue flag to the McLaren driver. The gap is 16 seconds, so yeah, lost a little bit of time under that. But the main question I have is usually how much time will USP gain or lose in this pit stop? But he continues to carry on, so maybe unlocking some extra last-minute pace from that Ferrari. Obviously the only drivers not to pit at the moment is USP, Julian and Nick in the Porsche. Obviously I don't know if these guys are going to have the same strategy, we'll have to see. But obviously this does change a whole lot in terms of strategy for USP. Julian doing the same strategy of USP, the looks of it, but we'll see what Nick does. Has he got some blue flags ahead of him? No, also staying out, so these guys on a completely different strategy. Have to see how that will work out for them, but for the second time this race we now have a new race leader. It is the schedule car number 29. So I have to see if USP strategy will work. He's got to unlock some serious pace in that Ferrari. Obviously the tyres are most probably going to be shredded like anybody else's, but luckily Ferrari has a characteristic that most cars do not have, and it is the late game or late tyre revival. For some random reason the tyres come alive once again in this car, so maybe trying to unlock some of that pace, just try to set some decent lap times before he comes into the pit stops. Last time round he set a 41.8, which was the best of anyone like in the last 10 laps, so obviously maybe these tyres are coming back slightly, and obviously if this pace continues then it's going to be a big gain for USP. So we'll have to see, is he coming in this lap? No, it's more, so he's still finding lap time by the looks of it. We'll see what this lap is, compared to his last, it's a 2/10 improvement. It's actually a personal best for Usby of this race. It's a 41.6. So again, see these tyres are coming back to him a little bit, which is going to massively benefit his race. Might even put him in contention for P2, and might even gain some time on that Mustang. I don't think it's going to be a huge gain, because the gap the Mustang has to Usby is currently 56.4 seconds. Obviously, the base pit stop is going to be a little bit longer than that, so it's going to be interesting to see how Usby wants to manage that. Obviously, it also depends on how much fuel he's got, because if he was saving at the start of the race, which could have been the case, to be honest, with that pace, well, he's using it now, so I don't know. Obviously, he's 10 minutes into the halfway point, so I wouldn't imagine he has too much fuel left anyway. But it might be enough just to keep him going for a few more laps to continue this pace. Julian also doing the same strategy, and Nick still doing that same strategy as well. So we'll have to see how this all works out for them. So it could be a big gain for Nick as well as his battle with Harry. And it could be a big gain for Julian as well in that same battle. So who knows? I mean, if these guys got the pace, we'll have to find out. But Julian actually finds himself in a lot of traffic at the moment, so it could be a little bit more compromising than anything. Let's see what Usby's lap time is this time round. It's a 41.6 last time. This lap it's going to be a 41.9. So his tyres are starting to slip once again, but still in the 41s, still competitive. Julian's last time was a 42.3 for reference. Crazy pace. We're interested to see what Julian does this lap compared to Usby. Obviously Julian still not that far off in terms of pace. Obviously had a little incident at the start of this race, and another spin in the middle part of this race as well. But it will be a 42.3 again for Julian, so that is the pace difference. So Usby's pretty much pushing for his life as he encounters some blue flags. It should get out of the way nicely for him. Harry also setting personal best of this race so far, so again still putting in the lap times after pit stop, so maybe trying to recover from the damage that this overcut might have from Julian and Nick. We'll have to see how that goes out for them. Obviously still quicker than them last time round by around half a second on average, so it could be some pretty might actually work out for Harry on the undercut. We'll have to see how that all plays out when they come into the pit stop. It's actually Johnny Williams, obviously the leader before the pit stop, currently setting some good pace in P4 at the moment, as they actually do find themselves in a way of some traffic. There's a big contact I noticed at turn 1 between a Mustang and Theo Cooksey. I believe that's now the driver's swap for the number 7 McLaren. I mean, I can imagine Robin's making a mint from
Usby's gone
tonight. Usby has gone in indeed. So this all matters now. Does he make the gap, or does he not make the gap? We'll have to see. We'll actually go on board with Julian to see if he does the same strategy. I mean, I would imagine so. That McLaren does drink fuel, so I would imagine he has to come in this lap or next. Yeah, he does come in this lap, and I presume it'll be the same for Nick. We'll have to see where the Mustang is. I presume the Mustang will get out ahead of Usby, but if the Mustang had a bad pit stop, we'll find out very shortly. Usby's still in the pit lane. Obviously, we'll go on helicam to show it. The final corner for the Mustang, and he's coming down the straight now. Usby still stopped. And I believe it's going to be a pass, but now we need to pay attention to where Marius is compared to Usby. Usby is leaving the pit lane now, and Marius is only in the final corner. So I think Usby has actually made a massive overcut here, which actually allowed him to get into P2, or net P2 anyways. He's still leaving the pit lane now. It's going to be very close on exit. I can imagine Marius close to the thing, but you can see Usby just ahead, and that's really send the dive. He is going to send the dive bump. So it's going to be Usby versus Marius, and there's contact already. Usby have to cut across the gravel. Marius does go a little bit wide, but it's Usby ahead still. So Usby has made the overcut work, and he is ahead of P2. But again, I don't know. It could change still. It's that close, and obviously using colder tyres now, so let's see if that works out for them. Obviously, see Nick and Julian was in this lap as well. See where Julian comes out in terms of the cars that you can see Harry go by there already. So he's lost a little bit more time, and he's got blue flags to get through. And the same with Nick. Nick's lost the most time out of all of that, as he actually currently 3.6 seconds off of Julian. And I'm just going to take a quick break, real quick, so if any of you guys could help out, that would be fantastic.
What a start to the race this is. I mean, 7 people have left so far, but it's to be expected with a 2-hour race. I know that we've had at least a couple penalties coming in the second half. Robin, can you give us a bit of insight on that?
I'm having some crisps, but yeah, there's not been too much for this half. It's been pretty clean so far.
How many
So,
incidents have we got total?
total is at 33 now. But
So not
actually,
too bad.
quite a few of those are racing incidents where it's just like some door banging. So
Yeah. I know
not
we've had
bad,
quite a
not
lot
bad.
of close races with a lot of drivers. I mean, I've been having some myself, so yeah, certainly plenty of action. 47 minutes remaining, and after these pit stops, it's sort of shaking up the order a bit. Eusebi's in front of, well, he's now in P2, and I'm obviously in front of Julian as well. So depending on the pace from all those drivers, it could be some more battles on the way. Blue flags are going to become a major problem for a lot of these drivers as well, especially towards the start of sector 2 and the pit straight. You can see on the track map now on the right hand side, the pit straight has a fairly big chain, and the sector 2 has one as well, and that's all led by what looks like Eusebi in his Ferrari. But we can't forget how big that gap has come from the leader. I mean, he's been having some incredible pace, and I don't know if I've got it right, but he might have swapped drivers now, so it depends on what pace that driver swap has got. Obviously, a lot of teams tend to go with the faster driver in as the first driver, and then put the slower driver in second, just to sort of try and maintain what they got rather than extend it out more. With this race being part of career, I know a lot of drivers are rather doing this solo than a team of 2. I think a lot of drivers would rather get the team points and the solo points themselves rather than relying on someone else. And to be honest, with this mini endurance series, it's not too bad. 2-hour races solo, certainly something that you can do, and it's good practice for the longer endurance races as well. Not sure what you're seeing on camera, but myself and Julian are currently in the chicane, and Julian is only 0.3 seconds behind me. It's a little weird commentating from the car, but we'll make it work. Obviously this Aston can take curbs quite a lot better than I assume the McLaren can, but that McLaren speed down the straights compared to the turbo lag of the Aston is something different. Julian a lot better on the brakes into the second to last corner here. It's going to be a battle of who gets the better exit and who can get the run down the straight, but that McLaren will have the slipstream, and of course, as I've just mentioned, the McLaren is a lot faster on the straight, so it'll be an interesting one down into turn 1.
Okay, and I am back, and I do believe that is Julian just behind Harry. Looking for a move into turn 1, but does get blocked by a blue flag. It's not going to be optimal, but does luckily not make any contact. But is now still behind Harry, looking for a pass very soon, I can imagine. Is anything interesting while it's gone?
No, I was sort of commentating over my own battle with Julian, and I was just giving a general overview. There's quite a big train going through start of sector 3 right now, so blue flags are going to be a big play for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, definitely. As we actually do see, I believe that's Maris still just behind Newsbit, so they're still fighting it out relatively hard. So I'll have to see how that continues.
What's good?
No, he's going on. Sorry.
I was going to say, what's incredible is, you know, after an hour and 15 minutes of racing, you've still got cars that are, you know, 2 to 3 cars that are still within 5 seconds of each other. I mean, myself, Julian, and Rizzoni behind me, they're getting this close after an hour and 15 minutes. It's something that you don't see very often.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do believe that's a believe that's, yeah, so no, it's unfortunate it's the Honda. The Honda's actually in the gravel and has lost a couple positions, unfortunately, from that. Unfortunate, as they were running very nicely in P10. Unfortunate, but that does promote Jacob into P10. Obviously, driven a great recovery race so far, and has been driving well all race. 45 minutes to go then. We do see Julian ahead of Harry. I believe Harry, you just made a mistake into the final corner, but that has allowed Julian to get by. But again, like we've seen, Aston can take these curbs and McLaren can't as well, as. So again, it's all to play for still. Interesting to see, but we'll actually quickly cut back to Marius, I believe is pretty much on the bumper of Usby, as they navigate their way through a sea of blue flag cars. And we obviously have to get past them nice and safely. We do see Harry and Jim made contact. Unfortunately, it's allowed Nick to get through into P5. Not sure what happened there. We'll watch a quick replay before Harry tells us, and that's as I expected. It's a Harry murder.
To be fair, I can't really make an excuse to that. I'm expecting a penalty, but yeah, McLaren was a lot slower over those curbs. I wasn't expecting the slow speed out the corner. Yeah, my mistake.
It was bound to happen. You know, you guys have been so close all race, so obviously these things do happen. But again, we'll have to see how it all plays out. Now is again that's Heineken only just now behind Julian, and like I said, Nick has got through in the P5 now with a healthy 4-second gap. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But now the biggest battle on track at the moment is actually, I believe that's Steve and Theo, McLaren versus BMW for P21. As I believe Theo made a mistake which allowed Steve to get through. But hopefully this battle continues. We should see Will versus Mark as well on track. See a little bit of an older Audi versus a, I believe it's an old Audi. Doesn't look like an Evo 2, but that's Audi getting through on Mark. I believe Mark just let him through there. But so now the biggest one on track is Marius and Usby. We're still bumper to bumper. See, like I mentioned earlier, Usby getting the overcut on Marius during that pit stop phase, and now we're battling out for the final 40 minutes of this race. So interested to see how that goes. But as I say that, Marius gets a drive-through penalty for track limits. That is really unfortunate. They've driven a great race so far, but I believe the best solution for this is to serve at this lap to avoid any further penalties, and he does. He's going to allow Usby to put away a little bit more, I can imagine, as he's got less pressure from behind. But again, you don't know how many warnings Usby's on. You know, one mistake can cost the whole race pretty much. And you know, it doesn't take much to get track limits here at Imola. So actually, this gives the car now on his own. So I have to see how it all goes for them. See that Mustang pulled away a little bit more of a gap once again. Now back up to 18 seconds. Great pace from this Mustang duo. Have driven a fantastic race so far. Yeah, I mean, really pretty much dominating the race, and that's Marius now exiting the pit lane. Unfortunately from his
not too far in front of Regazzoni behind him.
No, yeah, I mean, you can see how much time that really loses you. It's 2.5 seconds the gap, so I'm actually still not that far off you in terms of actual, you know, that close. I mean, you're only what?
4 seconds?
Yeah, so, you know, it's not that much in terms of lap time compared to where, you know, Marius originally was. So you guys have gained quite a lot in those pit stops as well. You know, any other mistake from Marius could cost him further positions. Obviously, he already lost position to Usby and Luca. Yeah, the gap between Marius and Luca is 35 seconds. I can't imagine him getting that back unless Luca and Usby get penalties. But again, yeah, I think Maris is now going to start looking in his mirrors as Nick's only yeah, because we said only 2.5 seconds, and only another roughly 2 seconds to Harry. So you know, it could all be paid for here for P4 at the moment. You never know. And I believe it's Mark once again, actually, not a little bit out of the 1 second range for Will, but we'll have to see if he can catch up or not. And what else? I mean, like Harry said, there's still a decent amount of cars within 5 seconds of each other, so it's really impressive to see that after almost 2 hours. So yeah, crazy. I should go on board with Jacob in the Bentley as he wants to hunt down the Mercedes driver, Declan, in the number 6 Mercedes. That was previously driven by Elliot for a driver swap. So interesting to see how he wants to further himself up into the top 10. Obviously, as a reminder, Jacob got down to P24 at some point in this race and has fought his way all the way back up. He's currently in P10 and gaining lots of time to P9. He'll be looking to get past soon. Who else do we have? We have obviously Julian, like we mentioned before, also did the same recovery drive that Jacob did, and has obviously spun once again already, and then spun again with the contact with Harry as he looks to try recover again to the top 5 finish. Still not that far behind these guys. So it's all possible, and if Julian does have the pace like we've seen so far, and it gets past Harry and Nick, it could be potentially P4 for Julian if he puts the foot to the floor basically, and obviously almost knocking on the door of 30 minutes left. So it'll start to get to that point where it's everyone gets a little bit desperate. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But I believe it's a mistake for the Mercedes driver on the number 6 because he's just lost lots of time. Jacob is now gapped less than 1 second, and so I can imagine on board actually with the wing cam. The wing cam of the Mercedes. You can see how much time he actually loses to Jacob just in that chicane alone. I believe that's Jacob going to try and look for a move into the final corners of the racetrack. Maybe a little bit late on the brakes, doesn't think about it just yet. You see the straight on speed, obviously, both these cars front engined. And we're looking for a good exit. So it looks like a great exit for the Bentley, and I'd imagine so. They're looking for a pass on the Mercedes into turn 1 as he looks left to the inside. It should be a fairly straightforward pass, I would imagine. As yes, Bentley does brake later and does get fully ahead by turn 1. Wouldn't imagine that Mercedes will want to fight that too much, as he knows the pace difference that Bentley definitely has. But the Mercedes is flashing, so maybe just I don't know. I'm not sure why it's flashing, but yeah, I mean that's P9 for Jacob now. 30 seconds off Ninekin, so I wouldn't imagine that being possible for him, but mistakes happen, so it could happen. But one thing we will see is Julian has closed to around 1 second of Harry now, so I'll be looking again for probably the 7th time in this race to get past. We'll have to see how this fight goes. Obviously great battling so far, with very little contact, apart from that one time Harry a little bit of grass touching into the final corner, which will allow the McLaren to gain even more time. You see Harry eating all the marbles on the right hand side of the racetrack. McLaren's flashing, obviously maybe not happy with the previous contact they had, who knows, but see the McLaren compared to the Aston into turn 1, you see the Aston's much better on these curbs, and the Aston has a much better line than McLaren does. McLaren is extremely loud. I'm going to have to go around to the outside cam. But Harry a little bit sliding, but the McLaren also a little bit of touching grass. McLaren does try to stick his nose in up the inside. Great camera angle, Gunners, thank you very much. Harry a little bit twitchy on the exit. It's going to allow the McLaren to look up the inside. Not alongside yet, but could be a dive coming. There is a dive coming, and he's going to be side by side with Harry. And and I believe that's him fully ahead now. Relatively simple and short, that one. I don't know if Harry will fight back or not, let's find out, but the pace that Julian has, I wouldn't imagine Harry to be in his mirrors for all that long, as he wants to chase after Nick, who's currently 7.3 seconds ahead. But one thing I have seen is Nick's actually holding the gap to Marius actually, so great job from the Porsche driver to hold the gap, as I believe, oh yeah, it's Marius actually getting involved in some blue flag traffic, which is probably not helping the lap time. Actually finds himself sandwiched between them all, as he's got a couple cars ahead of him actually. But yeah, I mean, you can already see by the end of turn 1 that's how much the gap has gone down between Harry and Julian. But obviously Aston's going to be much better on the curb than that's Mark. I don't know what he was doing. I think he was inspecting the barrier. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can see how much that Aston gains just on the curbs alone, which is completely crazy. Obviously Harry with a 5-second time penalty for an earlier contact, which I don't think, unless he gets that back past Julian, I don't think it's going to affect him too much, but Niken is only 6 seconds behind him, so it could all affect this race depending on how the next few laps or the last 30 minutes of this race go, really. But one thing I would like to know actually is USB's gained 4 seconds to their Mustang driver over the last, what, maybe 6-7 laps. So I don't know if the Mustang's having a little bit of trouble with the blue flags, but yeah, I mean, well, there is a lot on the mini-map as you can see, but who knows. He's also making his way through some of the traffic now, so we'll have to see if that gap balances back out or not. But still, everyone decently spaced out now. Not many drivers close together too much, other than Harry and Julian, but the gap sits about 2 seconds now, as we see. But I'll be really interested in USB's lap times actually, as we do see. Yeah, that would explain some of the lap time. USB's last lap time was a 41.7, and Williams was a 43.0, so a mistake for him. That doesn't explain all the lap time, so we'll have to see how it actually plays out. Maybe Williams has an issue, I don't know. But you know, if USB keeps its pace up until the end of the race, there could potentially still be a fight for P1, which I wouldn't imagine me saying that, because you know, qualifying alone was completely domination. But we do see actually, I think that's the Honda trying to get past the blue flag driver. That's not really giving away all too much. A little bit late giveaway into turn 1. Almost contact made as the Lexus and Honda tries to get away. That's USB also having a little bit of trouble trying to get through. Yeah, USB having to send a dive bomb onto the McLaren. But unfortunate, but obviously I don't know how much time he lost, because he lost that second. So not optimal too much, but obviously Williams also went through all of this, so you know, it could start to balance out this gap once again. Yeah, the gap's gone back up to almost 15 seconds again now. So yeah, you can see that USB's really trying to push that Ferrari. Wouldn't imagine it to be, well, it's quite crazy pace, to be honest with you, especially on the second half of the race. I mean, conditions have actually got a little bit colder by about a degree or two, so maybe cooling off a little bit, but nothing that I think would effectively affect the tyre pressures, unless you set them wrong. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, a At this stage of the race, Harry, what's on your mind? Are you worried about the gap ahead, or are you going to try to settle in for P7 now?
Well, I think I started in P6, and my sponsor's target is to finish higher than he started, so I'm already past that. So I think the rest of the race I'm just going to try and maintain that 5 to 7 second gap in front of Nikinen, so that I'll drop down another place. Tyre pressures are terrible. Like you just said, I've set them wrong, so I'm about a PSI under what I should be. So I'm certainly suffering there, but a lot of it is from my own mistakes. Obviously, that contact with Julian. Again, me a 5 second penalty. I lost out maybe 10 seconds from that as well. It's not being a good second half.
No, but I mean, you do something pulling away from Anakin, which is always a positive sign to try to limit the effect of that penalty. It's always good to see. Other than that, there's actually not much going on track right now. Other than I said, like he used to be trying to get past. He actually lost 7/10 to Williams on that last lap. I believe that's just pretty much through blue flags alone. Big slide from Yupplay as he comes up the hill. Really trying to get that Ferrari into shape and try to get the lap time. I presume he's trying to work on this chicane now. And he's been doing it for 53 laps so far, so I imagine he's got pretty good at it so far at the moment. Gap's currently sitting at about 14 seconds. It has come down once again a little bit, but not by much. I couldn't imagine. I don't know. It'd be quite a lot for Yupplay to try drag that gap down and then overtake. So, you know, I could be wrong. We'll have to see how this gap goes down in the next couple of laps and if it's possible or not. I did believe I saw a spin for number 7. I believe he's getting going now, yes. But yep, I mean currently P22 with only Ben Deems just behind him, yeah, in the Audi. So we'll be looking for a overtake against the McLaren actually slowing down. I don't know if he had a little bit of a slide coming out of that final corner. But this Audi, that's actually, I think, had that damage since the start of this race, is looking for the pass on the McLaren. It does get the pass in before turn 1. The McLaren trying a little bit late braking to try to get it back. Little side by side, a little bit of rubbing into turns 2. And that's the Audi fully ahead, nice and clean for these drivers. They've actually got a bit of a blue flag situation behind them, so I presume they'll try to get out of their way very shortly. I mean, that's definitely big props to this Audi driver who's driven with this damage all race, as McLaren actually sent a dive bomb into the next corner, which has actually pushed the Audi off the track, and yeah, I mean that's kind of blocked the faster cut of the, I think that's Maxime. I think he got blocked by these two fighting, but not much the Audi could do all that much, as he literally got dive bombed by the McLaren. The McLaren now P23 and 6 seconds off. But yeah, I mean last time round Yupplay set a 1:41.9 and Williams set a 42.2, so 4/10 quicker. Gap sits around 12.8, so the time is dropping, but I don't know if it's going to be enough before the end of the race. I don't think it is, but I mean, you know, if Yupplay picks up the pace or Williams drops the pace some more, then you know, it all could change in an instant. We'll have to see how they get on. It would be interesting for the Skittles car to win, and Harry, you've just got a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, I've been on 30 for 5 on. Well, I was sitting on no track cuts the first hour, and then in these 35 minutes I've gained 3, so it just adds to the pain.
It does add to the pain indeed, doesn't it? You see Harry going into the pit lane now to serve this drive-through, and there's nothing else going on track. We'll go stay on board with the drive-through to show how long and painful this drive-through really is. You see, it will start to drop positions. He's already lost one to Nijniken, and will lose one to Jacob as well. I believe he'll be fine for P10. But yeah, I could be wrong. But you can see how long Imola's pit lane actually is, and how painful a driver and how crucial it is not to get the cuts in the race, because yeah, it really messes you up. Yeah, Harry will exit after losing 2 positions. Not the worst, but again, like I said, he's got sponsor targets that he wants to try and meet, and that's kind of ruined that now. So yeah, super unfortunate, but you know, only 9 seconds behind Jacob. You can catch up easy.
And well, time will tell.
Yep, time will tell. But again, as you see, USP again picking up the pace. This gap has gone down rapidly, even though USP is trying to pass blue flag cars. He's actually got to watch out, because the number 77 is currently on track. I think having a little bit of a he's currently doing donuts, or trying to rejoin the track of sorts. He's having real trouble doing so, and should be getting going now, as he actually will be in the way of the 2 BMWs trying to get past him as well. Does get out of the way for one. It's going to be in the way of Usby though, as Usby will lose a little bit of time trying to get past this Bentley. Does get past now, and the Bentley does get out of the way in a suitable position. So that's good. As Jacob sets his personal best of the session of 41.5 last lap. So he'll be looking just, you know, set the laps in. I mean, I think he's done an absolute brilliant job in that Bentley. It's not often you see a car like this, well, on track at all, really. But to be there is pretty nice. I mean, Bentley is probably one of the best older cars you could probably drive, but still great to see it up there. I mean, in terms of other older cars, obviously we have the Lexus that Ben's been driving. Currently a P14, just, you know, driving, setting the laps in. It's been he has had a great race so far, I think. Obviously, not so much after the pit stops, but you know, been holding his own at the moment. He's had some great defending and some great attacking. Whereas we also have the other Bentley, obviously Samuelson. We saw him just have a spin just moments ago, as he literally uses all of that car suspension. Bentley won't be wanting that car back after this race. Yeah, I mean, to see these cars on track is definitely a positive, and you can see actually the Honda just behind it as well. That's Hanzo Voss, who actually went into the gravel maybe about 20 laps ago and lost P10. But still, P11, good result for the Honda, and it's, like I said, it's great to see some of these cars be in these positions, because it's not often you see them, and obviously that's the great benefit of Career Mode. You know, obviously the older cars being a little bit cheaper compared to some of the newer cars like the McLaren 296 and the like. So it's, you know, these drivers trying to make the best decisions when they're using their money. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's great to see them, and hopefully we'll get some more older cars as we progress into Career Mode. Obviously, like I mentioned before, this is only our second race and our first week of Career Mode. So hopefully come next couple of weeks we'll start to see more and more drivers. Obviously we've got a few new drivers today, or that I've seen that are new, and so it's great to see all these drivers, and I believe that's the Bentley that's just spun the car ahead. It's not optimal, some would say, but again, yeah, I mean, to get grids like these is really impressive, and especially to have a decent grid for the entire 2 hours is completely crazy. And I think, especially with these older cars, it must be, I can imagine that Honda being absolutely painful to drive, and I would not want to drive it for 2 hours. But when you have sponsors and targets to meet, obviously you want to drive them. I think that's the great benefit of Career Mode. Obviously, if you want to get signed up, it is acm-racing.com, and all the information is on that page. And feel free to join the Discord and ask any questions you have, or in the stream chat, and I will try and answer them the best I can. Obviously, maybe with Harry's help if needed, as he is here with us today. Other than that, I don't think there's actually many battles on track at the moment. Everyone's starting to settle in for the final 20 minutes of this race. Obviously, it's been quite a long one, 2 hours, and I'd imagine these drivers are getting a little bit tired now. I mean, I would be. I usually get tired after 30 minutes, so we'll have to see how this is. But USB still it is faster than Williams at the moment. Gap's currently 13 seconds, so it has gone up a little bit, but he is faster on lap by lap basis. I don't think it's going to be enough come the end of the race, unfortunately. But you never know, mistakes can happen, and you know, it only takes 3 warnings to get a drive through it. So I mean 4 warnings, 4 warnings for a drive through it. So yeah, I mean I would hate to, well, I would like to see what warnings everyone's on. That'd be great to see, because yeah, I mean, for example, because if USB's on 3, you know, it takes 1 corner, especially in a car like the Ferrari. It's, you know, it's and like we've seen him struggle at that chicane for the early parts of this race, then it would be pretty devastating to get a chicane, especially this late on after he's had a great pit stop and a great overcut on Marius. But speaking of Marius, actually, he's not really gained much from Nick. Nick's sort of, well, he's lost about 3 seconds to Marius, but still holding his own in that Porsche, and actually unlapping. I mean, lapping a blue flag driver. I believe they're just still going side by side. Maybe it's just that part of the race where everyone gets a little bit crazy. But yeah, I mean, obviously everyone, you can see on the mini-map, everyone's slightly spread out now, exception from obviously some of the blue flag drivers getting past. You can see in the background there, that's Julian, maybe looking for a late pass on Nick. I have seen that that gap hover around 3 seconds at the moment. You know, obviously 16 minutes left, so all to play for. I mean, last time round it was a personal best for Julian. It was a 41.9 compared to Nick's 42.2. Yeah, I mean, obviously some of these drivers doing those lap times, it's completely crazy, especially this late on in the race, where obviously even after a tyre stop, the tyres will be screaming a little bit, especially how aggressive they'll be driving, and especially in a car like the Porsche. I bet you those tyres are not happy right this instant. They're never happy. What else do we have? We have actually Mark, once again, it's actually closed back up to Will. Mark's actually getting lapped by the race leader, as he does pull out to the left hand side and will let the race leader by nice and safely. Yeah, but he's lost time to Will now, obviously, because of that, and we see him drift all the way around the corner. Obviously, make sure you learn from Drift Master Mark Mass, hugely important. It's not, it might be a sponsor goal in 2025 to drift your car 50 meters around the track. Cannot confirm or deny that one. But yeah, I mean, other close cars, as Ben's actually brought down the gap on the other Mustang, the 971, driven by Luna. Has actually got a little bit of damage. You can see the bonnet of that car up and down a little bit. So yeah, Ben's slowly reeling Luna in. I don't think it's going to be enough for a pass for the final 15 minutes of this race, but you never know. Obviously, anything can change. You also see actually the Honda of Hanzo Voss could be back on for a P10 after his early mistake. He's currently 2 seconds behind Declan in the number 6 Mercedes. Could be back on for a P10 here, and I would be loved to see that, because to have 2 of these old cars in the top 10 would be absolutely sensational. Obviously we lost the other Ferrari, the 488, a little bit earlier this race, unfortunately, but still it was great to see it on track for the first time in a while. Back up to the top then, USB obviously passing more of these blue flag drivers. The gap's now starting to stabilise around 13 seconds, so I believe USB is probably backed off a little bit now, knowing it's probably not best. I mean, he would literally have to gain about a second a lap now to even close to the Mustang. That's not to pass him as well. So yeah, I mean, oh my god, I think that Ferrari suspension is on air suspension. I've just seen the entire left hand side of his car just lift up about 16 meters. So I mean, maybe a new modification to the 296 I was not aware about. possibly illegal. We'll have to get the ACM scrutineers to check that after the race. Maybe that's how he's managed the chicane so well for the final part of this race. Who knows? I don't know, but that skittle car's got a lot of secrets about it. I'm just going to have to go under deep investigation later. Hopefully nothing will be wrong with it, because I would like to drive it and also be fast in it, but you know, we'll have to see how that goes. Speaking of, Ben has gained a second to the Mustang of Luna, and getting lapped by the Bentley. Gets out the way nicely. But yeah, Ben was gaining, but now not. Obviously, just had to give way to a faster car. But if he keeps the pace up, he might actually catch. So it'd be good to see that one. Speaking of Ben, Julian also bringing the gap down to around 2.5 seconds from the 3.5 it originally was. So maybe picking a little bit of pace come the end of this race. What else do we have? We have actually, so like I mentioned before, the Honda 1.6 now from Declan. So he is catching, well, not by much last lap, but enough, I believe, to possibly, it could be a last kind of battle of this race. We'll actually go on the interior cam of this car to show you how tricky it is to drive. I mean, I've never driven it properly myself, but I know from Altosis who's saying it wants to kill you. So we have to see how Hanzo fares. I mean, obviously at Brands Hatch on Tuesday, I believe he retired after an incident, but he was running a very good race, and so far today as well, he's also driven a great race. To bring a Honda at a track like this into, well, even the P11 now his goal is fantastic, but if he can get a P10, that would be even more fantastic. You can see there the Honda snap is real and is no joke. It literally does want to kill you. If that being the tyres or the car itself, we'll never know, but I always thought the Honda sounds nice. Doesn't look nice, but always sounds nice. As the gap now just under a second with almost 10 minutes to go, so they'll be looking for a pass. I just noticed as well there's a lot of damage on the underside of that Honda, so obviously not making it any better than it already is to drive. I think that Mercedes looks pretty good. Obviously driver swap for this team, which has allowed them to obviously fresh driver, more focus for the second half of this race. Could be a strategy imposed, or maybe just wanting to have some fun. We'll have to find out, but yeah, you can see how much that Honda is catching now. We should go on bonnet cam with it, because yeah, I mean, this engine sounds really nice. I think I'm just going to set on bonnet cam, but yeah, you can start to see how much the Honda is catching, and hopefully we'll get a pass in before this timer runs out. I couldn't tell you, obviously this Honda is a lap down, so in relation to whether that Mustang is, it could be done way before they cross the line, but so far their pace looks good, and will allow them to catch, I would imagine. Obviously that Mercedes will be much faster in a straight line, but the Honda seems to be doing just fine to catch up in the corners. No threat from behind, as it's Kelly behind us by about 27 seconds, so that 5-second time penalty for Hanzo will not matter much, other than he'll be getting a little bit of a fine a bit later for his ACM coins. But other than that, it's been driven, and speaking of fines and penalty points, that is not great for Harry once again, as he gets another drive through with 9 minutes to go.
Look at the replay.
Look on the replay, it says Harry.
Yeah.
We'll go back and we've gone helicam. Actually, no, we'll go on. Who's the best camera for this? Probably passenger cam. if that was it on the before the uphill, like
When I hit the gravel
yeah,
on the exit of the corner previously.
yeah, because you were across the white line, unfortunately, on that one.
I mean, all the way on the gravel, it's debatable.
Well, that's one to take
But
up with the ACM
the
students.
ACC with the Kunos.
Yeah, make sure.
My concentration's been out of the window this second half.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. It's been 2 hours, and driving it solo is definitely very tiring. I can imagine, as that's definitely not helped the car at all whatsoever.
Might even be a stop go 30 for that one.
Using a new technique to try slow down from the pit lane by slamming into the wall. Mark Mass does this technique on the regular, but I don't think it helps his lap time at all. But
Oh
it
yeah, I
does.
saw that by the way.
It does allow this drive-through penalty does allow Hanzo automatically to get up into P10 no matter where he finishes with this Mercedes. So it's looking like a top 10 finish already for Hanzo, but it could be top 9 if he keeps his pace up. But speaking of pace up, Julian has caught that 2 seconds I was talking about not that long ago. Has actually a little bit of contact with a blue flag driver, which has actually put him off. I mean, Nick lost time because of this blue flag driver, and Julian actually makes contact with that driver, which stopped him from gaining that advantage. So it's back to square one for Julian in terms of this battle, but again, still not that far behind. It's only 7 tenths, so I mean he's caught this far already, so plenty of time and, well, I say laps to do, but just put it into perspective, Julian is the last driver not to be lapped. Everyone else has been lapped, so up to P7 has been lapped by the Mustang duo. Insane pace from them already, but I don't think that Mustang will be looking to lap them anytime soon. Julian anytime soon, as they're complete opposite ends of the racetrack. But you can see how much time, one pit stop or one drive through, or two in Harry's case, drive-throughs can really lose you. As you see, remember Harry was in P5 not that long ago, and now 2 drive-throughs later in P11. Obviously his sponsors probably won't be happy about that one. Might even get him sacked. So
Team owner won't be happy about that one either.
no, obviously you have team owners in ACM Career Mode, and obviously all for the fun. But obviously a whole managing concept to that as well. If you're interested in that, obviously make sure you head over to acm-racing.com. It's great. I think USB has just spun. USB has just spun. I'm gonna have to watch a replay there because he's not escaping embarrassment on that one. I need to watch this on driver cam. I don't think. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a lapse of concentration from USB, but I don't know. Let's have a look. A little bit too much curb. It's just, yeah, he's not escaping the laughing face for that one later in the group chat. Yeah, I mean, it was bound to happen. He's literally driving a giant skittle. They're not the most aerodynamic thing in the world. But speaking of, now we actually have a lot more battles come the end. Ben has caught Luna, like I said. He's put some really nice laps in recently, I've noticed. So he's caught up very nicely. 5 minutes to go now. And that's actually Hugo looking on the outside of the Mercedes. And obviously, actually currently blue flagged. Everyone's trying to lap them, but he's currently in a battle. So I don't know how they're going to approach this. Obviously, it all depends on how you think if the stewards take any action. But it's a late dive bomb from the Honda. It's actually going to block the Mercedes, allow the Mercedes to get through again as Mercedes pushes the Honda off the track. I don't think that was intentional. I think it's just where the nature of the car was going, but it does set the Honda back some more, and I would imagine this BMW will try and get through now to lap. So fortunate as Honda has to go again. Obviously, like I said, still in P10, so still a great result for the Honda driver. Watch you see the McLaren of Julian now closing back up to the back of Nick still. Obviously, we've been seeing this for the past couple of laps now. Still looking for a pass. Not sure he's gonna get it. He's gotta catch some more. He's currently 6 tenths of a second behind. Nick's put up a great battle with Julian. So hopefully come the end of this race, maybe the final lap, we might see a little bit of an overtake, hopefully. Maybe a little drag race to the line, that would be entertaining. But speaking of drag races, it is the Lexus versus the Mustang as they make their way through the chicane currently. I would imagine this Lexus is still faster and straight line than that Mustang. In fact, I'm betting 100 ACM coins on that. Actually, don't do that, that's against the terms and conditions. Make sure you read those if you're joining ACM Career Mode. I thought I'd mention that before I get in trouble. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll see who is fastest down the back of the straight. I would imagine it's the Lexus, but I don't think it would be by much. You can see the Lexus here on board cam. That sticker is absolutely huge on the front of that bonnet, and the Lexus is actually quite a lot quicker than that Mustang in a straight line. I don't know if that's the damage affecting that, but it might be enough for Ben to look to the outside. It is, but Ben brakes early, looking for the switchback like everyone's done this so far, and that is the Mustang and the gravel. A little bit of a late brake from the Mustang, and it has allowed Ben to move up into P13. Great pressure and great driving from Ben this entire race to put himself in this position. We'll actually cut back to, actually we'll go to Dragos. I don't think we've actually spoken about him so far this race. I've seen him on track, but he actually chases down Mark for a P19 finish come the final lap of this race. That's actually Mark making a mistake and actually letting him through. All the while they're getting lapped by about 16 different cars. So I'm not sure what the plan is here. Mark's trying his best to get out of the way and actually gets spun. I don't know if he spun that by himself or the Honda pushed him, but he literally does about I think he does a 720. I mean, and he spins on the rejoin as well. That's going on the Instagram with a caption laughing emoji. But we'll cut back to Julian, who's actually still chasing after Nick. He actually, I got commentators curse as Julian finds his way into the gravel, but not that much. Still allow him to catch after Nick, but the gap now back up to almost a second, with only 1 minute to go, and I believe it will be a final lap for the Mustang driver as he crosses this line. We'll find out when he crosses. Yep,
Right,
leader is on the final lap.
Give it all you can.
Obviously these guys still got a lap to complete, but this Mercedes in behind will indeed be finishing the lap when the rest of when the Mustang crosses the line. So for people like Hanzo, he's going to make the move soon, but he's currently 2.1 seconds down, and he's got 2 faster cars ahead of him. So unless those faster cars slow down the Mercedes driver, I don't think it's going to look likely for a P9 finish. But speaking thing, Julian, 1.4 seconds has backed off a little bit. Obviously, still got to go round as they are about to start their final lap of the race. As we actually see Chandler Williams, obviously the second driver of this Mustang duo, finishing this race as they come up towards the final sector now. This duo has driven an absolute brilliant race, dominated qualifying by about 0.4 of a second, and now going to finish the race at around 26 seconds. Been fantastic. We always had thought that USB would try and catch, and he was catching a little bit back and forth between those two. But unfortunately, with UC's spin, I don't think it is going to be enough. So it will be the duo driving this Mustang. It will be the #1 spot in the Mini Endurance Season 4 Round 1. Great result from them and great driving for this team as they cross the line now.
The leader has finished the race.
Yeah, I mean, exceptional and completely dominated qualifying and the race. It didn't look likely that anyone would beat them to it. We all had a little bit of hope, but no, it's great to see, and hopefully they can continue this form into the rest of the season. But the next person about to cross the line will be the Skittles car of USB. Didn't scrape enough paint off that car to get a better result, but it will be P2. Great overcut from them to finish P2 after a very unlikely start. It didn't look like much. Then it's Luca. After a late drive through from Marius, it will be P3. Fantastic drive so far, and then obviously Marius as he enters the final corner now, unlucky with that drive through penalty, which did demote him to P4. So still a great result for them as they cross the line now for P4. And and then it will be Nick just behind, who actually slows down to Julian. I believe it's just letting him pass. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on there. As Nick actually slows down and hits Julian. I'm not sure what's going there. Maybe the stewards will look into that one, but that means Julian will get P5 ahead of Nick. I'm not sure what that was all about, but we'll have to see. And then it'll be Ninekin finishing P7. A very silent race. Sorry, silent race for them. But obviously great pace to finish P7 and in the top 10 of this highly competitive field. And then it'll be the Bentley in P8. Driven a fantastic race to get top 10, and like we said, Declan held on very nicely for a P9, and Hanzo for that Honda P10. Fantastic. I mean that's one of the best races I think I've actually I've seen. Ari, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the 26-second gap from P1 is insane. They've had such a good race. They were dominant in qualifying, dominant in the race. Not much else to say around it, really.
Yeah, it's been really crazy to watch, and hopefully this kind of racing continues into the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw some good racing on Tuesday, saw some good racing today. Next race is tomorrow, another British GT round. That's at Silverstone. If you do fancy checking it out, you can scan the QR code that's on your screen now. It'll take you to our Discord. Other than that, on Sunday we've got our Sunday Sprint Series, 2 30-minute sprints. Not sure which track that is this time though. I don't know if you know.
Not off
Really?
the top of my head, no.
And yeah, there's that race, and then on Tuesday or Wednesday again we've got another British GT round. Might even be Monday actually, that one, and that one is at Donington Park. And then again Thursday, mini endurance. So we've got a lot of races coming up. Come back here to the Twitch channel if you want some more action, or if you want to get on the grid yourself. You know how to do so.
Yeah, definitely. It's been wild. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and yeah, I mean that'll be it for now. So make sure you join in, like Harry said, and